Hello dear friends, this is Litecity, the YouTube channel dedicated to English literature, and in this particular series we are discussing some great dramas of 20th century literature, dramas and plays which have changed the course, which have shaped the whole 20th century dramatic literature. In the second episode, we are going to discuss three very entertaining and important plays. The one is Noel Coward's Private Lives. The second one is Terence Rattigan's The Browning Version, and the very hilarious, very popular one, Tom Stoppard's Jumpers. So please pay full attention to the whole video, learn about the key facts, summary of these plays, which will help you in your preparation for the upcoming exams. Okay, if we talk about the very first play, it is the Browning Version, which was written by Terence Rattigan. Terence Rattigan was a British dramatist and he is very well known. There was a period in the mid 20th century during the 30s, 40s and 50s up to the emergence of angry young man movement that Rattigan and Noel Coward, they too were the prominent playwrights of British drama. He was very much well known for his well-made plays. Now, what is well-made plays? Well-made plays are those which have a very neat and compact plot, and there are nothing like subtleties or we can say loose endings. They are basically set in upper middle class background, which was enjoying there was a sort of, we can say, just between the war period environment, he explored that. And there are many similarities between Rattigan and Anton Chekhov because Rattigan also focused on the personal problems of predominantly middle class characters who are left with no neat solutions. Dear friends, Rattigan was a gay dramatist, a gay artist, and there were many, you can say, personal episodes which affected his dramatic style and writing. Very important information I would like to share here is his concept of Aunt Edna. Now, who is Aunt Edna? It is the name which Rattigan gives to his average audience member. What are the qualities? Nice, respectable, middle class, middle-aged, maiden lady. Time on her hands and the money to help her pass it. So it's a typical, we can say, complacent audience he is aiming at. His many successful plays include the first one which made him a superstar on the dramatic stage, French Without Tears, Love in Idleness, While the Sun Shines, another very popular play, Winslow Boy, and the Browning Version. Okay, before going to the summary section, let's know about the key facts of this play which will be very helpful for you in your exams. It was written and produced in 1948. If we talk about the genre of this play, sometimes it is not very useful and sometimes even not possible to fit a play into fixed category, but still we would try. We can say it is a sort of sentimental play, and it is also a psychological study. A very important information is this is only a one-act play. We know that especially in 20th century literature, we have tradition, we have many famous one-act plays. This is one among them. Let's quickly go through the major characters of the play. The protagonist, the main character of the play is Andrew Crocker Harris. He is a taciturn, we can say very shy or tight upper, stiff lip. If you should remember this term, in fact, upper stiff lip. This was the term which is generally used for the British, especially after the Victorian age, where they don't show their emotions and responses. So he is a representative of that generation. He is a middle-aged teacher of the classics, and at present he is somewhat frustrated. Millie, Andrew's much younger wife, and she is full of bitterness about his professional failure, and also on the home front their marital life is also in the doldrums. She is already having an affair, not with the one person, but as the play progresses we come to realize she is we can say a regular she has regular affair with other man, and she is completely dissatisfied with their economic condition. A very important character is John Taplow. He is very popular and a favorite character of British audience. He is a student of Andrew and the play is set around him. He is one of the students and he is looking forward a promotion in the next class. Frank Hunter, he is a science teacher in the same school where Andrew teaches, but he is almost a contrast study to Andrew because he is very much friendly with the students and he is also very popular in the institute. And in the end we have Dr. Frobisher, who is the headmaster of the institute where Andrew works, and he is a very tactful person. Okay, before going to the summary, it's a simple request. If you like these videos, please subscribe the channel Litecity, share the videos so that more people, more students can get benefit from this. Okay, moving with our summary. This play is an example of the drawing room play. Now, what is a drawing room play? A drawing room play is a play in which all the action takes place in a singular location. Somewhat we can say it is classical example of unity of place. Even in this play we will get unity of time also, unity of action also. So it's a great example of the Aristotelian concept of unities. It is the sitting room. The present set is the sitting room of the flat of Andrew Crocker Harris and his wife Millie. Now John Taplow, who is a 16-year-old boy, he is in the 5th lower grade in English public school. He appears at this particular place for end of term tutorial so that by clearing it he can move to next class. In the very beginning and the opening scene, there is a jar of chocolates, box of chocolates, and nobody is there in the room, and he takes one, but he eats one, and then there is a kind of hesitation and fear, and then he puts it again because he is afraid of being caught. Once again, both Andrew and Millie is not there. Frank Hunter arrives. He is a friend of Andrew, and it becomes clear Andrew is retiring because of his ill health, because he is also not satisfied with the responses he gets in the institute, and he is known for his strict discipline, and he is called Croc. There is another term used for him, Himmler of the 5th Fort. Now Hunter, he enjoys rapport with the students. He is quite friendly and they wait for Andrew to appear. Hunter shows Taplow how to swing a golf stick, and Taplow admits that yes, like most of the students, he also makes fun of Andrew, but he has sympathy. He has a, we can say, lurking respect for his master. And during this conversation, Taplow shows him how students mimic Andrew master, and suddenly Millie enters and she basically overhears the mimicry. She just enters the room and she sends Taplow to the nearby druggist to bring some medicine for Andrew's heart medicine. The actual reason is that she wants to spend some time with Hunter, with whom she is having an affair. Now Millie and Hunter, they both talk about Andrew, and Millie shows her disappointment, though she says that there was a time when Andrew was inspired by his vocation. He wanted to become headmaster, but now he has lost his passion and he has become just a mechanical puppet in the institute. Now Andrew comes, but he is disappointed to find that Taplow is not there. Soon Taplow returns with the medicine, and Andrew is very much angry with Millie that she has sent Taplow for this work. Millie says, okay, I'm going to kitchen to prepare dinner. Hunter says, okay, I'm going because you have to have a session with your student, and both teacher and student are left alone. Now the task Taplow has to perform is to translate the famous classical tragedy Aeschylus Agamemnon. This is a text which selected lines he has to translate. Taplow finds it very difficult. He translates 2 or 3 lines. Suddenly there is, we can say, a flash of inspiration, and he changes one line, the basic meaning, and makes it more dramatic. Though Andrew, he basically chides, or we can say he is not happy at once, but he becomes emotional, and he tells Taplow that how when he was young he was very enthusiastic about Agamemnon, and how he worked very hard to translate it. Now, next visitor come, and it is Dr. Frobisher. Dr. Frobisher is the school headmaster, and he says that there are 2 bad news he has brought for Andrew. The first is that board has denied him a pension because he is retiring prematurely, so he won't be getting any pension. The second is sort of request that board has decided that on the coming annual meeting he should come earlier than a speaker rather than a follow who is more popular master. Actually, Andrew should come in the end for the concluding remarks, but once again, looking at the popularity of the younger master, Frobisher says that he wants Andrew comes earlier. Andrew doesn't have anything to say, and he leaves for a few minutes. Taplow also leaves. Millie comes, and Andrew informs her that he won't be getting pension. She is annoyed at how they will able to run their house. There is a heated discussion between them, but it is interrupted by the arrival of 2 new members. They are Mr. and Mrs. Gilbert. Peter Gilbert, who is the faculty who will replace Andrew's teaching position. So he has come to look at the flat because he will live in this flat after Andrew leaves. Now they both also leave. Taplow returns, and he has a gift for Andrew. So Andrew is so innocent, he is not able to understand that it is meant to be a gift for him. But when Andrew says that it is a second-hand copy of Robert Browning's translation of Agamemnon, and there is an inscription, a dedication written by Taplow, which is translated. It is written in Latin that God from afar looks graciously upon a gentle master. So it's a very, you can understand, a touching dedication. Obviously Andrew is very much he gets emotional when Frank reappears. He shows Frank the gift, overcoming with emotion. But Millie mars once again the situation. He taunts him cruelly and tells him that Taplow, how he mimicked him, and the gift is not actually a gift but a bribe, so that Taplow can be promoted. Frank is very much disgusted by this cruel behavior of Millie and tells her that he is no more interested in carrying off their affair. She slaps him. Now when they both are alone, Frank and Andrew, then Frank confesses that how he was having an affair with Millie, but he is shocked to know that Andrew already knows about the affair. In fact, Millie, in a sort of insulting him, she herself had told him, and Andrew also informed Frank that he is not the first man with whom she has an affair. Frank also promises to visit him in his new home. Andrew is not sure about accepting the invitation, but he nods in the end. He also grants Taplow his advancement, and when they are sitting for the dinner, Millie is obviously once again ranting about his failures. There is a call again by Dr. Frobisher, but this time in the end, Andrew takes reins in his hand. He says, okay, he won't be taking pension, that's okay, but he will speak at his rightful slot at the end. And the play ends with this line, the conversation saying that he is of the opinion occasionally an anticlimax can be surprisingly effective. So it's a beautiful study, psychological study of a man in the middle age. He is not able to fulfill the potential he must have. Okay, friends, the second play we are going to discuss, it is a very witty comedy written in fashion of, we can say, Congreve and Oscar Wilde, that is Private Lives. It is penned by Noel Coward, a British playwright. His long and prolific theatre career encompassed every phase of theatre. He was not just a writer, he wrote plays, very popular songs, he was an actor, producer, and also director. You would be surprised to know that the first production of this play, he himself played the role of the protagonist. His play caught the fancy of English youth once again between the war generation and which emerged as a forceful sector of the society of the time, and several of Coward's plays deal with the generation gap in a flippant tone. Three of his plays, Private Lives 1930, Designed for Living, and Breathe Spirit, they are considered among the best social comedies in the English language, and Mad Dogs and Englishmen, it is an evergreen hit. Okay, key facts, it was written and produced in 1930. If we talk about genre, it is once again a comedy of manners, or we can say it is comedy of bad manners, or in another way we can say it's a social comedy. Main characters, there is Elliot Chase, a man in 30s man who is witty, irreverent, sophisticated Englishman. Amanda Prime, his first wife, newly married to Victor Prime. So Victor is her second husband, and she is also like Elliot, a spirited, independent, and unconventional person. Now we have a contrasting set of characters. Sybil Chase, who is conventional, unimaginative, innocent, only 23-year-old lady, and now he is the wife of Elliot Chase, the second wife of Elliot. And Victor Prime, he is little older than Elliot, more conventional, and now married to Amanda. So they both are, we can say, contrasting set. This is a contrasting set of characters. Now, it first performed in 30s. It is a witty comedy about what happens when ex-spouses encounter one another while on their second honeymoon. Now, in Act 1, there is a French hotel which is setting. Elliot, Chase and Sybil, they are celebrating their honeymoon. It is second marriage of Elliot, and Sybil, she is very curious about first wife of Elliot, that is Amanda, and she wants to know more and more how she would have reacted, what was her taste, and obviously Elliot is feeling uncomfortable sharing any information about his first wife. Elliot explained that love should be cozy and not filled with drama and jealousy and rage, and after having this conversation, they go down to the casino. Another honeymooning couple is staying in the same hotel on the same terrace, Victor and Amanda. Once again, it is Amanda's second marriage. Victor is having the same conversation. He is curious about Amanda's first husband. Amanda is still uncomfortable about sharing his previous life, and he wants to know more and more about Amanda's ex-husband. She reveals very boldly that she and Elliot physically fought each other on many occasions. This disturbs, sort of disturb Victor, because he says, oh, I don't really know this woman. Now, Elliot and Amanda, they are after some time sitting alone and they are unaware of each other's presence. There is music is playing which is their favorite song, and then Amanda notices him, and though they are surprised to each other, they basically attempt to remain calm. Now he is feeling very uncomfortable with Amanda's presence. Elliot goes to Sybil and says they have to leave this place as soon as possible, but he is not sure about revealing the reason. He doesn't plan that his first wife is there, and Sybil, she obviously is disappointed and says she will not leave. Elliot is very much furious with this, we can say जो एमेंडा को वो नहीं वहां छोड़ना चाहता, हर स्टबर्ननेस को देखते हुए he is fuming over her. Amanda, she is also arguing with her husband, but she doesn't shy, telling him, and she tells the reason, but Victor is not able to believe. He says no, it's not possible that her first husband can be there, and he should have imagined him. Elliot and Amanda, once again they meet, and now after a conversation, casual conversation, they begin to recall their early days together. Elliot confesses he still loves her. He suddenly proposes that they should start living together alone from here without informing their new partners, but Amanda says that they should be honest with their new spouses. Elliot convinces her that no, they should leave them because they were better partners. Sybil and Victor, they now enter their respective balconies. They both are looking for their missing spouses, and when Victor sees Sybil, he invites her for a drink and they start having a conversation. Now, before eloping, Amanda says Elliot to promise that whenever now they fight, they will use a password. Now, when they have reached Paris in Amanda's flat, they once again begin to fight. They begin to bicker again and again, using password again and again. But they agree to marry each other again as soon as they get their respective divorces. Elliot is also annoyed to learn that Amanda has spent last 5 years after divorce in having different affairs with various men. They argue again, and this time it escalates, and in a passionate fury, Amanda breaks a record over Elliot's head and he retaliates by slapping her face. And at this point, Sybil and Victor walks in. They both walk in, and outraged by Elliot's insult at Amanda, Victor challenges Elliot to fight. Now, there is a hint that they both know each other and they previous also had fights with each other. Amanda and Sybil leave the room, and Elliot decides not to fight because he knows that women want it. Victor plans to divorce Amanda, and he expects Elliot to remarry her, but Elliot says, no, I don't have any intention to marry her. He goes into the bedroom, and Sybil, like a very tame wife, follows him. Alone with Amanda, Victor asks what he should do now. She suggests very cordially that they should get divorced, but he says that at least stay married for a year and then we get divorced. In their bedroom, Sybil and Elliot also plan on the same line after having getting divorced after 1 year. They all decide to sit down for a coffee. Elliot tries to converse with Amanda, but she ignores him. Sybil too begins to tease Victor about his serious nature. When he criticizes her in return, their argument escalates. Victor and Sybil's heated bickering seems very similar to that of Elliot and Amanda. The older couple notices this and they quietly decide to live together, allowing the blossoming love-hate relationship of Victor and Sybil to develop unabated. So it's a very, we can say, witty, it's a very, say quirky take on marital status of the 1930s and 40s. Okay friends, coming to our last play of this episode, Jumpers, which is a highly farcical. It is a play which will make you laugh belly out. It is written by Tom Stoppard, the Czech-born British playwright whose plays are marked by verbal brilliance and structural dexterity. He often combines comedy with social concern, farce with moral philosophy, and sometimes absurdist with naturalistic tendencies. So his plays are basically, we can say, an amalgam. There is a melange, there is a mixing of various elements, and we can say the verbal brilliance, scintillating. It is very, you can, he can at once a treat to watch and a brilliant writer to read. Major works include Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead, which is based on a small episode from Hamlet, The Real Inspector Hound, Jumpers, Travesties, Arcadia, The Invention of Love. If we talk about this particular play, key facts, it is 1972 produced play. If we talk about the genre, it is obviously a farce. It is also has some we can say common features with theatre of absurd, and what Stoppard himself called it is theatre of audacity. Remember this term, it is very important one. If we talk about characters, there is George Moore. Yes, he shares the name with great Irish philosopher, a writer of Principia Ethica. So he is a professor of moral philosophy at a British university. He believes in absolutes. Dorothy Moore, or Dottie, George's wife, who is younger to him, she was once a star of musical comedy shows, but she retired prematurely and she suffered a nervous breakdown during a performance when she is told that a man has stepped on moon, because for her moon was the ideal of romantics. Sir Archibald Jumper, or Archie, he is the VC of this university where George works. He is an exercise freak and has employed gymnasts as faculty. He is also cuckolding George in the name of psychiatric treatment of Dottie and Inspector Bones, a police investigator. Dear friends, the plot line is very complex. There are so many farcical incidents going on, but still I would like to present you a brief summary. The play starts with a musical performance by Dottie on the event of a victory in polls by radical liberal candidate. Once again, the elections are rigged by the professor himself, because most of the member of this party are his group of gymnasts, which he calls Jumpers. Dottie attempts to sing several sentimental songs, all of which include the word moon, and it becomes clear that she is suffering from a mental breakdown. Jumpers, which is a combination of philosophical gymnast and gymnastic philosophers, they all are members of radical liberal party. They join this party. They all are trained by Archibald Jumper. They arrive in the mid of party, upsets her performance with a demonstration of gymnastics. They form a human pyramid. And as they pose in a human pyramid, Duncan McPhee, he is a jumper at the bottom of the heap. He is suddenly shot and killed, but we have only an unseen hand. There is also secretary of George, who is doing striptease during this time. McPhee was supposed to debate with George. McPhee was supposed to debate with George at a symposium next day, and for this debate, without having knowledge of this murder, George is immersed in the writing of his paper, and he wants to prove the existence of God and of moral absolutes. He is unaware of the dead and the fact dead body is behind their bedroom door. It is one of the farcical trope of the play. The dead body for a long time remains in the house. They all cross it, they all see it, but they are unaware that it is a dead body. Dottie, she is also unaware of the corpse. She is watching on her bedroom TV set a fight between two astronauts of a crashed spacecraft on the moon. The commander, Captain Scott, he selfishly sends his crewmate Oates to die because there is space for only one person. He kicks Oates on the moon and returns in this space. Now Archie comes over to the Moore's apartment. He has a routine evaluation of Dorothy. Dorothy never gives any kind of physical pleasure to George, but her bed is always available for Archie. Every day he comes and every day he leaves in the morning. George suspects that Dottie is having an affair with Archie, but Dottie rebounds, accusing George of neglect and tells him her mental problems have recurred due to her sudden loss of idealism when first man landed on the moon. Instead of Dottie, George gives his full attention on his small pets. Who are they? There is a tortoise named Pat, a rabbit named Thumper, and a goldfish, but they are all missing. George resumes dictating his lecture to his secretary for the symposium, and the title is Man, Good, Bad or Indifferent. Now, Inspector Bones, he arrives for investigation of the murder of this jumper. Now, George assumes Bones has come in response to a noise complaint that he had called in on the night of the party. So, there is a complete chaos of understanding. Bones is investigating murder, George is replying about the noise complaint, so each is mystified by the behavior of the other as they both talk in very different contexts. Bones, we come to know that he has been a huge fan of Dottie when she was young, and she was one of his favorite singers. And investigation, he finds the dead body in the bedroom. He believes her to be the murderer, but he is more interested in getting an autograph than questioning her. Archie, he is very sly. He brings the other jumpers. They places the dead body in a big plastic bag and carries it off. Dottie and Archie are left alone. It is also hinted that George's present secretary, she is the murderer because she has been McPhee's mistress, and she come to know that McPhee was already married. George uses his pet hare and tortoise to disprove Jano's paradox. Jano's paradox, which works like this, that if there is distance like this and you shoot an arrow, at any time an arrow is on the similar situation like at the first time, so it is never moving. So he wants to disprove this paradox, but mistakenly he shoots an arrow towards the dartboard, which kills the hare. But still he is not able to understand that he has killed the hare. He steps off a ladder and his big foot lands heavily on pet tortoise, killing it also. Bones encourages George to help his wife get off from the murder charge, and he suggests that he should plead insanity. But George is not interested in all this matter. He discusses with Archie the vacant logic chair where this man McPhee was placed. Now McPhee is dead. He wants to have this chair. Bones asks to speak to Dorothy alone. Outside the bedroom, Archie and George discuss philosophy. Dorothy cries, release them. They run into the bedroom. Dorothy indicates that Bones tried to force himself on Dorothy, which is obviously false, and George vehemently denies that it is not possible. Bones decide to accept that McPhee committed suicide. The last part, after these two acts, there is a coda, there is a tale. It is a symposium in dream form. The question of man, good, bad or different is discussed among Archie, George and Sam Clagdor. Sam Clagdor is Red Lib spokesman for agriculture, but now he is made Archbishop of Canterbury. This devolves into a performance by Jumpers, song by Dottie, monologue by George about God and trains, and Archie asking us not to despair. So you can understand the farcical element of the play. That's all, my dear friends. I hope you enjoyed this performance. Please share your all kind of responses, reviews, and how we can make these lessons better. Thank you, friends.